Hi everyone, Commissar Hecht here with a Commissar channel update, or sorry, Commissar journal. I tried to do a stream, but the video quality was so terrible and unwatchable, no one was able to watch it. So I deleted that. I'm going to delete that video and upload this one. So normally I do the journals live because that's just my thing. I like doing the journals live. It gets me a chance to talk to you. But unfortunately, the internet here is absolute garbage. So I'm sorry. So you guys will just have to talk to me in the comments below. So let's get started, shall we? I'm TDY to Lackland for doing DBIDS training. So as far as like the channel and the film stuff. I'm probably not going to do a live stream because I just realized how crappy the video was. So there's that. I'm sorry. I could probably do Total War tonight, maybe, probably tomorrow. Do Total War tomorrow, and what was I going to say? Yeah, do Total War tomorrow and record it, not live stream it. And then I might be able to find so there's Games Workshops in San Antonio and there's some Rogue Traders, so I might try and see if when their Warhammer night is and go and watch that and go and film some battle reports about that. But if I don't get a chance to, there won't be a battle report this week. It'll be next week. Next week's battle report. So there's that. And then, so just keep that in mind. I'm super excited to learn DBIDS. That's part of my job as the NCOIC of pass and registration, learning DBIDS, learning how to do that system and all that stuff, learning how to troubleshoot it, making sure that it's user friendly, all that stuff. So I'm super excited to take notes on that and learn that system because that's my job. You know, I want to be an expert in my field on that. So. Or at least, if not an expert, at least be familiar enough to troubleshoot problems that arise. So I'm excited to get that started. But anyway, let's talk about first turn game and conceding games in Warhammer 40K, because the last battle report, which was the Astra Militarum Gene Stealer battle report and Tyrannid battle report, was not good. Now I know battle reports are hit and miss with me in my channel. Some people like it, some people don't. But that was really the biggest video that was disliked. It's got 7 likes and 5 dislikes. That's pretty damn significant for a video, and it's only got 290 views. So that one was a real bad video for a lot of people. It wasn't as entertaining, I guess, and whatnot. So let's get into why it probably wasn't as entertaining. I truly do believe that it was a first turn game. And what I mean by first turn games was it was decided within the first turn. And, you know, the victor was, you know, Rob clearly had an advantage and was able to dictate the battle in a way that suited him. And I dislike first turn games. I don't like it when I have first turn advantage, and I don't like it when my opponent has first turn advantage. I want to work. I want me and my opponent to actually have a solid, no shit, back and forth contest. Those create the good. Those are the good games. Those create the quality footage that everyone wants to see. Everyone wants to see the back and forth contest. They don't necessarily want to see a battle report where one side is clearly the advantage. Or one side just clearly has the advantage. Or at least I hope that's what people want to see, is the back and forth contest. You know, so first turn games, for those of you who aren't familiar, first turn games is basically you and your opponent have set up in such a way whether by accident or on purpose, whether through just how the terrain is set up, just how the missions are set up, whatever the case is, no matter what you and your opponent do to change that outcome, whoever gets the first initiative gets first turn. Or sorry, dictates the way the battle goes. And you might say, well, Commissar, that's how turn-based games are. You know, whoever gets first turn is going to dictate how the battle goes. And you wouldn't be wrong, but at the same time, you wouldn't be right either. Case in point, you could have a battle where first turn doesn't necessarily matter. Doesn't matter how many models you remove on your first turn, or doesn't matter how, you know, what objectives you seize on your first turn. You know, if it's like a victory point battle, or if it's objective based but with victory points, like sealed missions, sealed orders, all that stuff. Like there's some missions that you don't require to have first turn to still win the game. But at least in my particular aspect, no matter what me and Rob or me and John or me and Tiny or any of the other players do, it boils down to first turn go. Who gets the first initiative? Who gets turn one, top of turn one? And it doesn't matter if there's line of sight blocking terrain, no matter, like, we will literally do everything in our power to make sure that the board is fair and does not give advantage to anybody. And yet somehow through magic, first turn, there have been very few games where someone who gets first turn has not been able to dictate the battle in their favor. And that's not fun for me. You know, I play Imperial Guard, Dark Eldar, Orcs. I'll be playing Sisters of Battle when I get all those gals painted up. Eldar, when I finally get my button gear and get them squared away. You know, all the armies that I'm going to be introducing to the YouTube channel, doesn't matter what I play, I don't want a first turn game. I hate first turn games. First turn games aren't fun. They don't, you know, like, yeah, you get it. I'll be honest, you get a little bit of satisfaction of, yeah, I'm finally winning a game, or whatever the case is. If you've had a drought, you know, quote unquote, a drought of defeat, or, you know, you've had a drought and you haven't had a victory in a while or whatnot, or you're just, your luck has been really bad for a long time, and you're like, yeah, finally, yeah, I'm gonna hurt you, yeah, I'm gonna win, you know, all that stuff. But it's not like at the end of it all, when I'm done playing it, I'm like, wow, that really wasn't challenging. That really wasn't tough. That wasn't as fun for me. I won, and that's kind of okay, but it wasn't fun. So my question to you guys is, how do you beat first turn? How do you and your opponent make sure that it's not a first turn game, or do you just feel like, hey, it's 8th edition, that's kind of how the flavor is? Because it seems that 8th edition is very much in favor of first turn games. Okay, and that's really frustrating, because I love the back and forth contest. I love not being able to look at the battle board and be like, yeah, someone is it's 100% one-sided, or it's, you know, there's a good 80% chance that I'm not going to win this fight. You know, I want it to be it's 60-40 or 50-50. You know, 50-50 is what you want, but you could be like, that's 60-40. But when you get up to like 70-30, you're like, not going to win this one, you know, kind of a deal. So there's that, you know. So I want to know what your guys' opinion is of first turn games. So that's the first question. The second question, and kind of the big one, is that, and I got a little bit of hate mail over it. So let me talk to you about this gentleman. And I don't think it's hate mail in the sense of like he was just hating on me. I think he was just like, hey, you could have won the game, kind of a deal. And he was kind of he was venting. He was frustrated. Or maybe there was no malice behind it, and he was like, dude, you could have won the game. Why'd you quit? Why'd you stop? Kind of a deal. So, Roberto Medina. And again, this is on the battle report for Tyranids, Imperial Guard versus Tyranids and Gene Stealers. Dude, you wussed out. It was not that hard. All strong enough to withstand shots was the Hive Tyrant. Basically, I think what he was saying was the only thing that was strong was the Hive Tyrant. Everything else had poor saves. You were at distance. You could have moved up with all your troops and rapid fired the crap out of him. Believe me, you had enough to bring it back. I play NIDS. I play NIDS main or man. I know he didn't have much left, and this is the answer that I gave him. So he had me outnumbered in command points. He had 6 command points left. So if I killed the last Termagant or Gene Stealer, he'd bring back a full unit with Endless Swarm, the command point. He'd just command point Endless Swarm, and because he had Hydra, he could bring back Warriors, Gene Stealers, and Termagants or Hormagaunts. So even if I killed both the Broodlord and the Hive Tyrant, I still didn't have enough shooting with my hardened veterans and my 2 remaining Leman Russes to have done anything to the Gene Stealer cult. Also, I only had 1 troop left on the field, so I couldn't secure an objective point because all Rob had was troops. So he had enough to beat me in troop number alone, and finally the reason why I conceded the victory was because it was midnight and I had to work in 7 hours. So yeah, there's that. So that was my reasoning behind it. And a little bit of backstory to that battle, if you guys didn't watch it. He got first turn. His Gene Stealers wiped out one of my Stormtrooper squadrons, so that was 1 troop's choice. My other Stormtrooper squadron got wiped out by the Termagants, so that was another troop's choice. And I had a 3rd Stormtrooper squadron holding my left flank. Or sorry, my extreme right flank to prevent deep strikers from coming in. And the big problem was... Oh, excuse me. The big problem is that after my 2 Stormtroopers got destroyed during the first turn, one of my Leman Russes got down to 3 hit points. The second Leman Russ main battle tank got knocked down to 6. And then I had a Demolisher, and then I had my 3 veteran squads. That wasn't enough to get rid of his 30-plus Gene Stealer cult. I mean, I could have gotten rid of most of the Gene Stealer cult, but that wouldn't have been enough to secure... it would have taken all my hardened veterans to get rid of the Gene Stealer cult, and then that was it. And he still had 5 Gene Stealers, Tyranid, the Broodlord, and the Hive Tyrant. The Broodlord, I think, had 2 wounds. The Hive Tyrant only took 1. So, and it was the top of his turn 3. I didn't do enough damage at the bottom of turn 2 to beat him. So the question that I'm going to pose to you guys is, do you concede a Warhammer 40K game if you've lost? Like, if you know you can't turn it around. And another 2 things that I had. So he had 13 command points because he had a detachment of Gene Stealers, which was a patrol, which was all troops. He had a battalion of Tyranid. So, I mean, no matter what I did, he outclassed me in command points, and he outnumbered me in just bodies alone. And my rolls were absolute crap. I mean, I was hitting not even half the time. I was hitting maybe a half to a quarter of the time. I was wounding less than that, and he was making his damn saves. So it was really, really frustrating for me. And then besides the fact I had to work, I worked mids that week. I worked from 10 to 2 or from 10 to 6. So by 12 o'clock, I need to go home. I started film. We wanted to start filming at 8 o'clock, but we were running late, so we didn't actually start filming until 9:30. So by 12 o'clock, I just called it because I was like, I have to get to bed so I can wake up at a reasonable hour, do PT, and go to work, you know, and not be tired because I'm armed up. So those are one of the reasons why I called it. But the reason why I wanted to talk to you guys about this is if you concede a battle, or should you concede a battle, or should you just write it out to turn 5? Because that's only the right and proper thing to do, or do you wait to turn 3 and then call it? Do you wait to turn 4 and then call it, or do you, or if you're just getting obliterated by turn 2, you're just like, I'm done. I can't beat you. So that's the question I have for you guys. So yeah, so those were the two things. So I really do want to know your guys' opinion. What do you guys think about first turn games? And do you think that 8th edition is doing anything to solve first turn games? And then what do you guys think about conceding if you feel that you've lost and the dice gods aren't with you? You know, I'm generally curious what the community at large, writ large, thinks about it. So there's that. That's kind of what's going on in my for this journal. I'm just genuinely curious about what you guys think. So I'm super excited to do the DBIDS training. I can't wait to do that. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a battle report. I'll probably film me playing Total War because, like I said, the live stream of this journal was choppy, it was broken, you couldn't hear what I was talking about, so I'm going to delete that video and upload this one instead. Yeah, so I'm not going to be, unfortunately, I'm not going to be talking during, or I can chat, but I'm not going to be able to really talk much. So I don't know how entertaining that'll be. I really want it to be entertaining, but I don't know how entertaining it's going to be. So we'll see. I'll film it and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I hope you guys are. It's a Monday, so I hope you guys have a good work week. I hope you guys had a relaxing weekend, and if you're coming off of some bad times, don't worry, things get better. I'm always here for you guys, so you guys can always talk to me in my Discord channel or through my Facebook, link in the description below for both of those. And yeah, so I will see you guys in the next episode, and I'm really curious about first turn game comments, and then conceding Warhammer 40K battle before the 5th or 6th turn comments. Anyway, so that's it for me. My name is Commissar Hecht, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.